guys, and welcome to the character appraisal of Squealer from the anime Shin Sekai Yori, or From the New World. I will showcase my major likes and dislikes about him and award him a letter grade at the end, compared to a poll I put up on Google+. Due to the nature and role of this character, a lot of the plot elements will be revealed, so consider yourself warned. Massive spoilers ahead. Okay, let's begin, shall we?
Very well.
Shin Sekai Yori is an anime that follows the life of a girl named Saki in 3 stages of life: childhood, adolescence, and adulthood, and all in a society that has many secrets and closely administered to a very invasive level, especially considering the strange psionic powers that everyone exhibits. We see this very same society being shaken to its core and how Saki lives through such a time of adversity. Squealer crosses paths with the protagonist in all these stages of life and is part of a manufactured race of mutated mole rats dubbed monster rats, who has a key role to play in the shaking up of the human society.
My name is Squealer. You hear me?
He is an orator who has the charisma not only to move his own kind, but even human beings. The one consistency in all of Saki's stages of life in this regard is his priority on self-preservation, at first of himself and then his own kind as a race. He really makes us question what being human and humanity really are. Is it our appearance or our way of thinking, morals, emotions? Where do rights as we define them really come from? Should it be just for being Homo sapiens or being sentient living creatures? And what is sentient?
Perhaps, but most importantly, should equal rights not be granted to all sentient creatures?
The bottom line is that his life really may be seen as a satire on what we call human nature. He appears to be a show that no matter what, we wish to always change the world around us to our liking and never accommodating change within ourselves to fit in. Nor do we want to see others rise to power without our control being constant and the same, always being at the top. The more knowledge we gain, the more independent we wish to become and pull down those we believe to be above us, both in our own societies and those of others. Power is always a thing we strive for, in the most destructive ways possible. Even the fact that he is an intermediary translator between humans and his species shows that humans want to communicate not to learn, but to issue orders and rule. We don't even bother to learn the language of those we oppress, but expect them to learn ours in order for us to oppress them in the first place.
Squealer!
Yes, this aspect was pounded home through his character, and I hope I did justice to such. The story's pacing is perfect for the changes he goes through. His evolution from simple-minded monster rat to his self-proclaimed human level, as he goes through very dramatic but believable changes in leaps and bounds. The history of his species goes through that of the modern human one, from a monarchical life to rebellion, all the way to a democratic one, until it is all tainted by distortions of despotism, promises of freedom, and a religious belief being used as an excuse for belligerence and dictatorship. At the center and pinnacle of all this is Squealer himself, with his questionable but somewhat understandable rebellion against the human beings who oppress them.
We rebelled because we are not slaves.
To further this point, he is one of the most tenacious characters who stands as an unlikely antagonist, who educates himself in human politics and society to a point that he brings them to their knees with their own past philosophies they would sooner forget than embrace. When it comes to subjugation and forced control, he teaches us that as long as one can be subservient to you and understands you, they can definitely rebel against you. They also will probably know where to hit you where it hurts and wish to become you at the top of the food chain, effectively switching places with you, no matter how much you manipulate them, even on a genetic level.
What seems to be the problem?
His kneeling supplications are a very standout feature about him in all of the main protagonist's stages of life, and may be used to reflect his own state of mind and motives at any given time period. In her childhood, it is out of fear, ignorance, and cowardly survival.
Squealer!
Yes, what do you need, my lord?
In her teenage years, it's for misdirection and flattery, while in her adulthood, it is a tactical weapon to give his enemies a false sense of security, when in fact he is literally a conniving, dangerous little rat.
Oh, I assure you there is no way that could be true. Please believe me, whatever you heard, you must have misunderstood.
What he wears is a reflection of his state of mind and way of thinking at each stage of Saki's life as well. It's also very ironic that his rebellion was initiated by the very same people who sought to stop him. This is so because treating him with respect and like an equal, they inadvertently awaken the human within him.
You would be so insolent as to deny the name that our town has so graciously bestowed upon a beast like you? Is that what you mean to do?
We are not beasts or your slaves.
Being the thirst for freedom and the need to shape the world to their favor. Well, these were the child Saki and her friends in defiance of rules meant to protect them in the first place, but it was enough to make Squealer and his race realize their own potential. It's unfortunate that we do not get to see how he actually ruled and communicated with the others of his species. We only get the point of view of the human beings, which I get as the story was about them, but I would have liked to see life from his vantage point. The story does touch upon these when he talks, but I feel that there was a goldmine of good and sneaky plot behind his words and actions. I hope they make a spin-off showing his life at some point so that the audience may get closure and judge him from a human point of view rather than the monster rat he is painted as by the so-called human society in his world.
You can trust that I will handle it.
Overall, I give him a B.
Ha! That is wonderful news!
All because he managed to use the very little time he had on screen to capture our attention, though I would have wanted to see and hear more of his story, as he was a great villain. The results of the Google Plus poll I put up seem to go in a completely different direction. Only 12% gave him an A, 6% voted with a B, 12% awarded him a C, 10% gave a D, and a vast majority gave a 62% E to an F. It seems people don't think his story is genius and his role brilliant like I do, but to each their own, right? What letter grade did you give him? And that's my character appraisal of Squealer from Shin Sekai Yori. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you like, subscribe and comment for more videos. Until the next one, I am Zakes and take care.
I wish you all a safe journey home.
And that's my character appraisal of Squealer from Shin